All right, Freeform Rock Podcast after show, man. I'm bored. I'm fucking
After show.
It's the after show, man. It's what this is called on Freeform.
This is the
isn't
main
BS.
show right now.
This is the main. Well, this is the after show.
A Sunday morning surprise for everybody. Sunday evening surprise, I should say.
Yeah.
Okay, judging by how many people are here, we could probably do this on Sunday nights more often, huh?
Yeah, it'd be cool.
This is quite a turnout, actually. Shit.
This is. I thought I would get one.
Yeah.
It's like I didn't expect all this. I just put feelers out there because I'm bored, man. I don't know. I got a bug up my ass. I want to talk about Metallica discography because I don't think we're ever going to do a lot of reviews of. I don't think we'll ever do Saint Anger unless Mooger picks it. So I'd like to talk about that a little bit. But fuck, man, how you guys doing, man? Jerry, you introduce everybody, man.
Oh, you're leaving the onus on me, huh?
Well,
Okay.
that's your job, man.
Oh, I have a job now. Where's my paycheck at?
Well, where's my paycheck?
Hey, I got $1.01 from.
I read that for what?
I saw that. That's awesome.
I don't know why.
Well, did you put a bank account on there? Because I'm trying to put a bank account.
I didn't. All of a sudden, I looked at my bank today, and it was like internet income $1.01.
You got to share that wealth with the three of us, man. Come on, man. Don't
Well,
back.
Dude, I will send you your 75 cents. Not a problem at all.
So you only got $1. That'd be like
We
30
got Andy,
something.
we got Jerry, we got Travis, we got Joseph.
Thank
How
you.
you guys doing, man?
Hey, we're doing okay. Thanks for having us on such a short notice. This is awesome.
Yeah.
This is nice.
I like doing shows like this sometimes. It's just like, let's just do something and not think about it. You know, let's just get out there and do it raw.
Hey.
I like that shit.
Hey man, we had a kind of fly on the wall the other day and did a podcast out of our ass, basically.
Yeah.
And it's okay because sometimes that happens, and you just gotta. Hey, you just
Gotta roll with it, man.
I just gotta make a joke. We did a podcast everywhere else for that same band before with fucking look what the cat dragged in it. We did it again with Open Up and Say Ah. So there you go.
All good. It's all good, man. It's all good.
That band
That would have been an easy review for me. I wouldn't even have to listen to it. That'd be like the Diamond Star Halos album. I
Oh
think.
God.
Uh-huh.
Oh, one of our worst received episodes ever. God damn. Maybe it is bad.
I gotta say two things. I got two things at most. First of all, I'm psyched. As you can see, I'm moving around on my new chair. Finally got a new office chair. Now, if you've watched the show or listened to the show in the past, you always heard squeaky chair, which actually got a lot of airplay. Actually, a lot of comments about on the show. So
The saga of the squeaky office chair.
I finally have a new chair, and it's fucking pretty sweet. It's a gaming chair type / whatever the fuck I don't know what they call them. But anyway, one more thing I want to say is I was pressured by everybody to give this thing another listen.
Nice.
And you know what?
Nice.
It still sucks ass. I'm sorry.
Oh, what the fuck's wrong with you, dude?
I
don't
like that.
I thought I liked Hunger Strike, and I don't like that song anymore. I mean, it's just
That's the worst song on the album.
it's just dated.
I like it,
man.
though.
It's badly dated. I don't mind dated.
You mean
stuff.
there's a good song on the album?
No, I mean, there's dated stuff. I get everything's dated, but this stuff is like rank and file dated, man. Like rotten.
Yeah.
It's overdated. I mean,
Reach
Dude, I
down,
get-
Plastic
I get
Jesus,
you. I get you.
Wooden Jesus. Oh, those
so I'm gonna
songs
put this away for another 20 years if I'm still alive. Maybe I'll listen to it again.
are- Okay, you're going off on the Eddie Vedder song. There's Reach Down, Mooger.
I mean, even the greatest of Chris Cornell couldn't save this album. I'd like to put everything.
There's two
he
guys
did.
on here who like this album. Defend me, because last time I wasn't getting defended when I said I like that album.
Yeah, it's a great album. I mean, what do you want me to say? I've made it very clear that I love that album.
Yeah,
I said it already.
Yeah,
It's
me and Andy have
Yeah.
both made it very clear that we love that album.
I had to dig really deep into my bin to find this fucking thing.
But you need to
too, man.
reach down a little deeper then and pick yourself up. Pick the crowd up, man.
Hey, Jerry, I mean, Marks doesn't like it.
Yeah,
I know. I'm fucking with it.
I don't like it even more now. I thought I hated it then. I hate it now even
I'm
more.
I'm making a joke, Andy.
I'm with
on
you,
him.
Jerry. I'm with you, Jerry. I think the
Thank
album
you.
sucks too, but I like the first 3 Pearl Jam albums. I like those.
You guys
those.
like
I like the
Audio
first
Slave?
2 Pearl Jam
You
albums.
guys like
Audio
Audio
Slave's all right. They're okay. They're not great.
the first Audio
Sounds
Slave
alright.
album is
I
the
love
only one I really
love
like.
Sounds
Oh, I like Revelations. Great
I
fucking-
can do without Audio Slave, actually.
But everybody likes Soundgarden, right?
I love
Oh,
Soundgarden.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
uh,
That's
Of course,
okay,
yeah.
I just had to
And
make
we
sure on
are
that one.
here to
Soundgarden is
talk
my
about
favorite of that-
Metallica
of
today,
that.
so.
Like
And,
So yeah,
entire
uh,
season.
I don't recommend this for anybody to listen to anymore. It's complete fucking garbage.
What is it?
Temple of the Dog.
I know. I'm just joking.
I also like Rage Against the Machine a lot, but I just don't like August.
Oh.
me too. I love Rage
Fuck
Against the
yeah,
Machine.
man. I
My
love Rage.
main problem with Rage Against the Machine is I always fucking use that wah pedal for every damn solo. And I was
Don't
like,
you
dude,
do what they told you.
turn off the wah pedal, dude. Come on. And Kirk
Don't
Hammett
do
syndrome
what they
there.
told
It's
you.
like, dude.
Don't do what you told you.
That was a
Just get the
fun. That was a
COVID
fun
test before
review.
you come
That
into
was
our
a great
concert.
review.
That was a great
Some
review.
of those work are the same. But props.
That
There's
episode did well,
one
by
song
the way.
one song
compared
I
to
like
Ti-
by them. That's that one with what's that? Something with a pocket full of shells. What's that one?
Goals on
that's
Parade.
Bulls on Parade.
Yeah, I do like that song. It's the only song I like by them.
I like.
that's
I love
the
bullet.
album.
I love Bullet to the Head. Bullet
Yeah.
to the Head.
Yeah, that's a great
Yeah.
song.
I like all 3 albums actually.
I do
Mhm.
too.
They
All
had
three.
3. I only thought they had 2.
No,
They had
they
three.
had
Oh,
3.
okay.
The
And-
third one was Battle of
Yeah,
Los
2
Angeles.
more than it should.
I'm not getting political on here, but it's funny you guys bring up Rage because Bob Hay, my on again, off again friend, he's a friend again, but he texted me,
friend again?
you were right. Fucking Tom Morello likes Che. I go, dude, where have
Yeah.
you been? They have it on their fucking amplifiers.
Very well known.
Very well
Yeah,
known.
that's nothing new there. I mean,
Yeah,
come
that's
on, man. I mean,
Very well known who they support politically.
And the motherfucker bought tickets to see Sammy Hagar's tour. I'm going in August. So the fucker got expensive tickets. He said he didn't want the $47 tickets up the he bought $200 tickets. I go, dude, no concerts is worth $200 and you already bought it without asking me.
Oh, I
would-
can name a few that would be worth it if they were,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, Pink
miraculously got back
Floyd or
together.
something, Pink Floyd or Zeppelin. Yeah.
I mean, if
you know.
Zeppelin did something, I mean, which I don't think ever going to happen. You never know. They might do. No, I don't think you're going to do a one-off.
Dude, I got 2 Metallica dates for $197. So come on.
Like
I've
the
never
fucking
paid more than $100.
Yeah.
the David Gilmour tickets were fucking expensive, man. So
There's
I would've-
there's only one concert that I've ever paid more than $150 to see.
what's that?
Lady Gaga.
What?
You know what?
I
I think
love Lady Gaga.
I
think
do like her
for-
voice. I get her that.
I think for her monster tour with my wife and I combined, I think it came out to like 170 or something like that.
Mhm. It was
But and she
With-
was great.
with all the
She puts
fees.
on a
When,
good show.
I went and saw her last year or 2 years ago, whatever it was, the Chromatica
okay.
tour. With all the fees and everything, it was just below 200, and they were good seats. Wasn't bad
Yeah.
seats. So
Yeah, I lucked out on that $25 thing that they did
yeah.
last month. I got Yes and Purple for $25 and seats at
Yeah.
that.
You're gonna love Purple.
Yeah,
Yes, is it yes with that Anderson and fucking
we already
Chris,
talked about
we've
that.
had this. We've
I
had this.
I know, I'm
conversation.
just saying it. You're gonna love Purple. But let's get into
Well,
like
this will be my third time seeing Purple, so yeah, I'm pretty sure. I will.
I've seen Purple twice and they were really good. Even though
Yeah,
Ian
that's
can't
will
do the
be my
high
third
notes,
time.
they were really good.
I
That
saw
new
that
guitar
was sucks.
player though, that new guitarist, fucking great.
Simon McBride. I approve as a Deep Purple fan. I approve. It's great.
Yeah, man, I agree too with you on that, man. But let's get into something I just had up my ass, and I go, fuck it, let's talk about the Metallica discography real quick. Because I think this would make a huge fucking we already did a lot of reviews on these albums, but Mooger and Jerry wasn't with me on a lot of these reviews, so we could do mini what we think of this album. So I have the list up. Usually Jerry will have a list up, but I got it up right now. I got Kill 'Em All, man. Let's start with Jerry, then I go to Mooger, Joseph, Andy, and Travis, and then I'll end. Start, Jerry.
Dude, the fucking album was a game changer, man. It's still fucking classic today, man. I mean, not a bad song on it. Highlights, I think, are Anesthesia, Pulling Teeth, Cliff solo, fucking amazing. Still killer listening to it today. I mean, he was the one that doesn't like Jump in the Fire. One of you guys don't like that song. Who was that? You? Yeah, that's a great fucking tune, dude.
Wow.
Metal Militia, No Remorse, Seek
Oh,
and
yeah.
Destroy. I mean, come on, dude.
Motor-
Four
Motor
Horsemen.
Breath.
I mean, Phantom Lord. I mean, just fucking loaded with fucking metal classics, dude. Absolute metal banger, dude. Love it.
All right, Mooger.
I don't know. It's the least favorite of my
Ooh,
the
Boo.
least favorite of all Metallica records for me.
Oh my.
It's okay, man. It's got some great fucking songs on it. I learned all of this record on guitar, played them in bands, so it was super sweet. But I don't know, man. The production was shitty. They didn't get good production until the next record. So
I mean, that's Megaforce, right? I mean, how much money did they have at the time, you know?
right,
I would say their
exactly,
production.
exactly.
I would say
I
only.
mean, it was very trebly and it was very high end and it was very reverb. But that was what thrash metal sounded like at the time. And you could get that with Anthrax. You can get that with anybody at the time.
Yeah.
I love the songs. Don't get me wrong, man. The songs are there for sure. I just don't like the production. I don't like the delivery. I think they're gonna get it better. They're gonna get it. They're gonna get it, man. They're gonna get it.
They're gonna
They're gonna make it.
right?
They're gonna make it one day, man.
They're gonna make it one day.
You're gonna make it one day, kids. You're gonna make it, bud.
Someday
faith in
they
them.
will not be almost.
All right, Joseph.
All right. So just starting right from the beginning. Talk about badass album artwork.
Yeah.
Like just that just tells you exactly what you're in for.
That bloody
And especially honestly, going through in my head, Hit the Lights is probably my favorite album opener that they ever did. What a way to open an album. And they were always good about opening an album, but particularly like right from the beginning, their first album, Hit the Lights, is an amazing way to open an album. Four Horsemen, Motor Breath. I love Motor Breath. That's one of my favorite songs on the album. Like Jerry said, I'm not a huge fan of Jump in the Fire, but Anesthesia is an amazing instrumental. Whiplash is just absolutely classic. And then the rest of the side, too, has a ton of great stuff on it. Kind of like what Mooger said. I'm not blown away by the production of this album. And in fact, there is only one Metallica album in the 80s that I'm completely satisfied with the production of. 3 of the 4, I am not happy with how they sound. And one of them is one that everyone will be like, wait, what do you mean you're not happy with how it sounds? And there's only one that I think has a legitimately great sounding production. The other ones, one of them is, of course, infamous for its bad production.
Yeah.
And then this album, of course, has that very, like Mooger said, early thrash kind of sound to it, which isn't bad production. And the other one that I'm going to talk about isn't bad production either, but it could have sounded better. And a lot of these songs sound a ton better live than they ever did.
Oh yeah.
On the studio albums. There's only one album in the 80s where I think the songs sounded just as good in the studio as they did live. But Kill 'Em All, what a great debut album. Definitely a great way to kick off a career. Definitely the most straightforward thrash album they ever did.
Mooger, remember this? You remember, since you're a guitar player in a band, a lot of bands, and you're my age. You remember those little 4-track and 8-tracks you can record, those little miniature ones? You can record like your music on, like with your band and stuff. You remember those?
Mooger's talking.
All right, never mind. We'll go on.
Mooger, you're frozen. Do you remember what he just said?
Is he frozen or just?
No, he's there. He's just smiling.
All right, next.
Andy. It was Andy next, but he walked away.
And go with Travis.
Travis, what do you want? Kill them all.
Travis.
To me, first thrash album, full out. I don't care what you say about who did this or who did this first. It's Metallica, man. Kill 'Em All. That is the first thrash metal album. There's not one song on that album that doesn't have so much like firepower to it. It's just an assault on your ears in the best way possible. And my favorite track off the album is probably the dark horse on the album, Phantom Lord. I love Phantom Lord, and I love the middle of that song where it goes into the melodic part before the solo hits. That's prog. That's some prog stuff right there. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's just amazing. I love Phantom Lord, and I love the way James screams it at the end of the song. And by the way, James Hetfield, he just sounds evil on that album. And
Yeah.
I give it a 4 out of 4 stars. It's a perfect record.
All right, Andy.
Yeah, I was about to agree with what Mooger Fugger was saying because they will get better. Just Metallica Kill 'Em All, they will get better, and the production, that's what's really missing from something that could be great. As you can tell on the cover, I spilled paint on the cover of the album. Also spilled paint on the actual vinyl, but still plays through. I tried cleaning it off, it just smeared more.
Oh shit.
But yeah, this is a really good album. It took me a while to get into it because this isn't the first Metallica I heard. Of course, I'll talk about that later, and I worked my way back. And it wasn't until I got older that I really started to like Kill 'Em All, because at first I was like, this is completely different from what I was used to hearing from them. So that's why it took me a while. But I am sold on Kill 'Em All. It's still not my favorite. I believe I would rank it number 4 in their first 4 for me. So Kill 'Em All.
No, I'm just gonna say, like I said on the Freeform Rock podcast episode on Kill 'Em All, this is my favorite Metallica album. Without this album, I would not have been into Metallica because my friend Scott Travato from In-N-Out Burger, he said, "Hey, my friend Dickie has my Kill 'Em All CD. I'm gonna go get it because you have a CD player, I don't, and let's listen to it in your car." So I had the big system, and then we put it in, and we're sitting in front of his friend's Dickie's house, and I hear fucking hit the lights. I go, what the fuck is this new sound I'm hearing? My God, this is amazing. And then you're dun, 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 hit the lights, you know, and it goes into Phantom Lord, Anesthesia. Like, and he had the version with Am I Evil on it. Like, it had extra tracks on there, like the 2
the
cover
remaster
tracks, and that was limited. And I was like, Am I Evil was like, it's so amazing, that cover. Fucking love that song. But fucking, this is my favorite Metallica album, and I don't hear nothing wrong with the production because I had a great stereo system and it sounded fucking great.
It's got nothing to do with the stereo system. It's got to do
I
with
mean, they were raw, they were hungry, they were just on fucking fire when this.
I don't hear any problems in the production. It's fucking sweet. The drums and bass are
there's
high.
no problem with the playing that shit. When I was a kid, plugging into my Marshall amplifier, no fucking effects, anything. I could easily play. I mean, come on, man. Am I Evil? Easy to play.
Yeah.
So fun to play. So
Am I evil? I am mad. Yes, I am. I like that.
Evil? Yes,
and
I am.
that was a bonus track later too.
About that version
Well-
of Am I Evil, I love the Diamond Head original, of course. But I love the way James says, "As I watched my mother die." I love that part.
Am
All right,
I
man.
Evil and Blitzkrieg were actually B-sides on this.
Yeah. Nice.
That was what they were.
You always bring it, man. You always
Oh, quick
bring it.
question, Mark. Are we talking about Garage Inc. also?
I'm just going studio albums. I don't
That's
think
just
that
his
album
studio
counts.
albums. Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll be here.
studio.
We'll be here all night.
Yeah,
I got work in the morning.
we're getting to ride the lightning now, Jerry.
What? Okay.
Yeah, you win
Who's that?
already on Kill 'Em All.
Oh, I was about to say that my
Hey,
favorite Metallica song
hey,
is Blitzkrieg,
hey.
even though it's a cover.
No, don't do that. It's the video's off.
All right, go, Jerry. Talk over him. No, I don't want to hear their junk.
All right, who's got the album cover for this one? Talk about a badass album.
Right,
Yeah,
lightning.
What you got?
I don't give a shit.
He's got it right there.
Yeah, that's a fucking badass album cover right there, man.
Yeah.
One of the best ever. That logo is just fucking awesome, dude.
Dude.
It's my
I
favorite
flew-
Metallica
I
logo,
flew
the
into-
blue.
I flew into Houston in a lightning storm. Fucking lightning hitting the fucking plane. And I was like listening to da 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 da, you know.
Yeah, but I love the way Fire with Fire starts out this nice little acoustic thing, and then it just fucking goes off on this fucking metal massacre sound.
Well,
just
you
incredible.
had Cliff Burton, man. He did.
Yeah, I mean,
he was
just-
like strumming his shit. So
There's 3 songs I know you probably hear in every fucking show they did: "Creeping Death," "Fade to Black," and "For Whom the Bell Tolls." I mean, those are just fucking. I mean, what more can you say than clashes? But there's a lot of great gems, hidden gems in this. Like, I know James hates Escape, but I fucking love that song, dude. I think
Great
it's
song.
amazing too.
Great song.
Call
Trapped
of
Under
Cthulhu.
Ice.
Call of Cthulhu, great fucking instrumental.
Trapped Under Ice, that's my favorite.
Title track, fucking amazing, dude. It's just, another fucking solid album, man. It's just, and the production isn't as much better than the first one, in my opinion. But
Then
it
why
still
did
sounds
people
great.
bitch that Fleming should have produced every fucking Metallica album and everybody's complaining about his production?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, this is another fucking great album, dude. I mean, what can we say that we don't know about it already? So that's all I got to say.
All right, Mooger.
No, I think Jerry said it all. I mean, this album is amazing, straight up, from the first chords to the last. And you can't say too much about this record. That hasn't already been said. So,
Yeah.
All right, Joseph. He's got the Bohemian.
Example A of the big fancy box sets. Big fancy box set. Yeah, no, I mean, this album is just phenomenal. This is the album that I was talking about, like Jerry kind of hinted at, where controversially I'm not a fan of the production. Particularly not on every track, because some of these tracks, like Trapped Under Ice, sounds amazing. Fade to Black sounds amazing. For Whom the Bell Tolls sounds amazing.
Mhm.
But then some other songs, like Creeping Death, just really sounds awful on this album. Like literally
Ooh.
every live version has so much like balls and power to it. And then the production just kind of lets it down a little bit on the studio version. And I still love the studio version, but it just has so much more power live. It also is because most of the live versions I know, you have Jason Newsted screaming his ass off during the bridge of the die, that part. But the whole album's just phenomenal. Like Jerry said, I mean, there's nothing bad you could say about this album. From the album artwork on down, my favorite version of the Metallica logo ever, the blue kind of lit up version with the lightning around it, and then badass pictures of the band on the back cover. And then one of my favorite Metallica artworks of all time was what I just held up, was the Creeping Death single.
Yeah.
Just so badass looking.
That is badass.
Another great version of the Metallica logo, this kind of green stone version. And of course, as I mentioned, this is what Am I Evil and Blitzkrieg was originally the B-sides of Creeping Death. But yeah, so much great stuff. And I love looking at these posters of seeing Metallica in tiny little print under a giant picture of Venom.
Where
Where
it's the opposite now.
Nowadays, 5 million people like a month know who Metallica is, and like maybe 50 know who Venom is. And same thing with like Raven, where Metallica was opening up for Raven on their first tour, and Metallica now plays 2 nights in a row in front of 50,000 people at a stadium, and I saw Raven at a bar in front of like 50.
Oh,
Like, and I'd rather pay to see Raven, honestly. But it's funny how some of these bands just, it changes over the time, and how Metallica can sell thousands of copies of a couple $100 box set for every single one of their albums. And I will willingly buy all of them.
yeah.
I wish I could afford all those, you rich motherfucker.
Well, I'm that way with Maiden, so I get
Christmas gifts. Those were almost all these were Christmas gifts.
I need people to give me gifts like that. Hey, take donations. No, I'm joking. But Andy, what do you think about Ride the Lightning?
Right the Lightning is a big improvement after over Kill 'Em All. I don't have a problem with the production at all. This is a fantastic album. This is one of them. This might be ranked number 2 in my Metallica ranking. This is number 2. You know, we talked about the songs. In fact, we talked about Fight Fire with Fire extensively on Thursday. Of course, the title track and For Whom the Bell Tolls, you can hear on the radio every day, on regular radio. Yeah, from y'all still have rock radio in your area. Of course, Fade to Black is a classic track, and then Side 2 is just as good. Creeping Death is one of my favorite tracks by them. I love that song. But yeah, it's a great album. And again,
Yeah.
I came to it a little bit later, as because I didn't get into Metallica until I was 14. I make it sound like it was going to be later in life, but I didn't get into them until later on, and then I had to move my way back. So, Ride the Lightning is my number 2.
Yeah. I also got great memory. Also got some great memories of buying guitar magazines and learning the tablatures of these songs when they came out. Mooger probably remembers that too as well.
Yeah, I got into them when I was 18 when Injustice for All came out, but I didn't hear that album. I heard Kill 'Em All first, and then I bought Injustice for All when it came out. So that was my first like waiting for a Metallica album. So that was fucking
I wish they had the technology that I was young and had this technology that I had back then. I'd be a fucking awesome guitar player, man. They make it easy now, man, to learn how to play the instrument, man. People should take advantage of it because
you could be a singer. It's called
you got tabs everywhere. You got people on YouTube showing you how to play it, man. It's like
you got apps that'll do like step-by-step lessons and stuff.
I had to buy a book to teach me.
Yeah, I did too.
You know, when I would go to the grocery store with my mom, I would go to the magazines, and I don't play guitar, but I would read Guitar World just to look at the lyrics underneath the tabs.
Yeah.
Well, they used to sell magazines that just had the lyrics of songs in it. I used to buy those too. Yeah. So, yeah.
All right.
Good times.
Circus and Hit Parader, and in the back of Circus,
somebody
they would have
somewhere
different
about
songs with the lyrics.
Somebody somewhere about the lyric and tab book and I learned. I was like, I learned a lot by ear, by the way. I mean, but like Fade to Black, learned it all by ear. Didn't need I didn't need one bit of music.
Damn.
So I just don't have the patience to learn guitar. I bought an electric with an amp. I bought an acoustic, and I sold them all because I just don't have the patience.
Yeah, it was weird for me. I struggled with it for the longest time. Then one day it just fucking hit me, dude. I'm serious, man. It took me a little while, and it wasn't like great away, but I understood the instrument better. It was, pretty cool actually.
Because my uncle plays.
I'm not a maestro by any means, but Fade to Black was pretty easy to pick up, and it was pretty easy to pick up.
Well, I had trouble with that one, so I'm just kidding.
All right, let's get the Travis on Ride the Lightning, man.
Well, that was the first Metallica album I bought with my own money. That's how I got into Metallica. I mean, I heard the name before, but when I was playing Guitar Hero World Tour, Trapped Under Ice was in the game.
What?
I heard Trapped Under Ice, and I'm like, God damn. I'm like, what the hell is this? And it was Metallica. I'm like, I'm interested. And then I hear Creeping Death on a metal station when I was getting into metal. I'm like, I gotta go buy this thing. And I bought Ride the Lightning at Best Buy when they used to sell CDs.
Yeah.
And I fell in love instantly with Metallica. And it's not my favorite Metallica album, but it's definitely my number 2. And my favorite track on the album, well, it's not actually on the album, it's a B-side. And it's my favorite Metallica song in general, even though it's a cover. I just love Blitzkrieg so much. That's my favorite Metallica song. But if we're talking like on the album, I am going to go with Creeping Death.
Great song. So Metallica, Ride the Lightning, man. These albums, 83, Kill 'Em All, 84, Ride the Lightning. Fucking great fucking albums. And they started peaking. They were like 68 in America with Kill 'Em All, and then Ride the Lightning went to 48 on the charts. So they're getting better and better and better here. You could see them rising up in the rock world, and this album rules. I think I have Anaheim Magnetic when I saw them on Death Magnetic. I think it has Creeping Death on there live. Now they gave us the CD of our own show back then, and it's fucking pretty cool. I wish they did that now. I like the CDs of those 2 shows I saw them.
You could buy them, Mark.
Yeah, but they gave it to me for free back then.
Really?
Yeah,
they had to have been one of the only bands because most of the bands were charging for them.
No, they gave with the ticket price. You got that, and the same thing with Bon Jovi. This House Is Not for Sale. I bought 2 tickets for that tour. They sent me 2 CDs.
Well, who
Well,
would want that CD?
you probably get like two of those fucking.
Yeah.
I
CDs
love
for
those
each
CDs.
ticket.
I love this house sleeper sales. Fuck off.
And a
All
letter
right,
of
so Ride the
apology.
Lightning is a fucking really fucking great album, and I don't understand everybody talking shit about the production. I love both. I'm a good production person. I listen to Rush, so I know they're the first ones that went digital. But fucking, I don't hear any lacks in this production. All the old school, old heads, crusty bitches say that Metallica sucked after Fleming left, and some of you guys are complaining about Fleming's production. So
It
I
just
don't know.
I don't think there's enough bottom end on it. And it's funny saying that for being albums with Cliff Burton on them,
Yeah.
but it's a really kind of treble heavy sound. And to my ears, it's just there's not enough oomph to it, which is how they sounded live. And I think that it was kind of like Kiss, I think, on those first few albums where it just didn't really capture their sound in a really like efficient or like true way until the album we're about to talk about.
Yeah, we get to that album right now. Master of Puppets, Jerry.
Yeah, I mean,
Segue, I love that.
great album, but there are, unlike the last 2 albums, there's a couple songs on here I don't really care about too much. I don't care for The Thing That Should Not Be. I don't care for that tune. I don't care. Leper Messiah.
All right,
is
have a
just
great night,
okay.
everyone. See you later.
Great night.
Leopard-
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, you can do whatever you want to, but the other songs on there are fucking awesome. Of course, we all know, this is the tour where we lost Cliff. But you got a fucking Orion, dude. I mean, one of the best instrumentals ever, in my opinion. I mean, then you got Welcome Home, Sanitarium, Battery. I mean, just fucking great tunes. I mean, so those 8 songs on the album, 8 songs, something like that. Totally make up for the 2. I wouldn't call them. Well, The Thing That Should Not Be, I think, is a real stinker. But Leper Messiah is not a stinker. But yeah, I mean, another fucking great album. I think it's the first one. What do they go? Elektra Records after this?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, but fucking, it's a killer. It's another game-changing album. And the funny story about this is, they were opening up for Metallica, or opening up for Metallica. They were opening up for Ozzy on this tour, and I was living in California, and I was going to go see him. But my dad, he got fucking transferred. He worked at Brinks, got transferred to fucking West Palm Beach. So like 2 weeks before that show was going to hit in California, I had to fucking move there, so I couldn't go with my friends and see it. Which would, which I would have fucking loved that show, But anyway, getting back to the album, fucking it's another great album, dude. Just not perfect album. Production wise, people are gonna say it's better.
All right, Mooger. I hope you have a better opinion than Jerry. Jerry, I love you. I'm just fucking.
What was so wrong with that opinion?
You I don't know, dude. You didn't like 2 songs off the album, so it kind of hurt.
No, I only said one was a stinker, the other one's just okay.
Okay, yeah, whatever.
Come on,
But go ahead, Mooger.
Come on, guys. Stop.
Hey, I said it's okay. I said it's okay.
Yeah, Jerry, it's okay.
I don't think it's okay. Damn it! I want to
It's
fight.
okay.
Just kidding. Go ahead, man.
I'm gonna go. It's good record, and I agree with Jerry. There's a couple good songs on here that, out of 8 songs, maybe 6 songs should have been a perfect record.
Thank you.
It definitely is so good, and Michael Wagner fucking mixed it, and that is way crazy. I mean, you think he's a mixer of like Skid Row and the Bastion Bach and all these other great bands, and he mixed this record.
Yeah, man. Joseph, what do you think about it?
By far, by an extremely wide margin, my favorite Metallica album. It's not even close. I think it's an absolutely perfect album. I love every song on this album.
Eight of them, right?
All 8, yep. All 8. Love all 8. Disposable Heroes is my all-time favorite Metallica song. Just from start to finish, amazing album. This is where they finally figured out the production. This, tied with another album we'll be talking about coming up, I think is the best they ever sounded in the studio. And it's two very different productions. They don't sound alike at all, but I think those are the two best they ever sounded in the studio. But there's just something about the way this album sounds to me that sounds so full and really just hits you over the head. Really, it captures that kind of like just in your face energy that Metallica had during this time. Right there. Battery. I mean, just you feel it so much. And then even in the smaller moments, like in Welcome Home Sanitarium or in Orion, where it's not as in your face, you still feel the fullness of the sound. And I think that was what was missing for me, particularly on Ride the Lightning, is the sound just wasn't as full. I don't hate the production on either of the first two albums, but they just, when you hear the production on this album, I think that this is what they were missing. And I think that this is when they finally figured out how to fully incorporate their sound into a studio. And
Michael Wagner.
Exactly. And every song, I love every song on this album, rules from front to back. I'll mention quickly the live album that came in the box set was live album from recorded in the Aragon Ballroom in Chicago with Cliff. Cliff was still in the band when they recorded this. Great set list incorporating all the first three albums, plus Am I Evil. Some really good stuff on here, plus just badass album artwork of what their stage was like at the time.
Only Joseph. Only Joseph. Only you.
Only me.
Only you. What do you think, man? What do you think, Travis?
Oh, it's
It's
Andy.
Andy's turn.
Okay, Andy.
Oh, it can be Travis. Are you ready, Travis? It doesn't matter.
Go first, Andy.
All right. When I was in Chicago a few years ago, I was able to go to the Aragon. I didn't get to see a show, but there were workers in there getting things ready, and they let me go in there, walk around. It's such a iconic venue for hard rock, heavy metal, and so on and so on. Y'all know everything about the Aragon. This album, Master of Puppets by Metallica, I've got a personal top 20 of all time, and that is in my personal top 20 of all time. It's the best Metallica album ever made. It will always be my favorite Metallica album. All 8 tracks are amazing. I just looked at it on my phone. Do y'all realize it's 55 minutes long?
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it's almost an hour at all.
Yeah.
Because there's albums.
I think every song on the album is at least 5 minutes long.
Wait to the next two. There's some long ones coming up.
Oh well, yeah, but
Actually, all of them are pretty much from here on out are pretty long.
Yeah,
Not really.
But a Master of Puppets, it doesn't feel long at all. Because sometimes we can sit down and hear an album, you're like, oh, it's only 45 minutes and they're still playing. But not this album. Every track is fantastic. Every note is perfect. It's just the perfect album. And this is the album that gave them another 10, 15, 20 years of a career because of this album. That's what good albums do. They give you longer careers. Even hit songs when people complain or oh well, you know, that was my first hit, but I don't like it. That hit song bought you 2 or 3 more albums to come out. Gave you a career to move on. I don't know how people say, oh well, that song, I don't like it. You know, it was me when I was younger. But it's because of you. It's because of that song that you were able to stretch out a career. But yeah, Metallica Master Puppets, my favorite Metallica of all time. From beginning to end, great album, great.
Travis.
Well, first thing I want to say, Jerry, I'm excluding you from what I'm about to say because I love you. Any hackwit that thinks this album is overrated, get the fuck out of here.
I don't think it's overrated.
No, I'm not talking about you, Jerry. You're cool. You're cool.
You're the bee's knees, man.
But how can you not love this album?
I love it.
It's perfection. Every track is a winner. It's a 10 out of 10. This album is heavy.
There's some winners and some wieners on this one.
I could give a rat's ass about production. If it sounds good, it sounds good. It's just a phenomenal record, and it's my favorite thrash album. It's just amazing. My favorite song on the album that has to be "Damage Incorporated." Just a
fucking A. It's a great tune.
fucking Razorback. What a tune.
Dun, 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 dun.
And-
Fucking incredible, dude.
Oh man, it rules. It's a phenomenal record, and Geddy Lee was supposed to produce it.
Yeah.
That would have been interesting.
Sounded weird, I think.
Probably would have ruined it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it would have.
But yeah, best
love
Metallica
Geddy.
album. I agree with Andy and Joseph. Best Metallica album ever.
Yeah, and then we get to well, I didn't
You.
say Master of Puppets. I love this fucking album. Fucking amazing beginning to end. I don't agree with you, Mooger and Jerry, but I still love you. The thing that should not be, what the fuck? That song
It's
fucking
a great
rules.
song.
It's a fucking great fucking song, but you know, it's okay, man. We all have opinions, man.
That's some Sabbath riffs right there.
I'm pretty Jerry. I'm pretty sure Eric shares your opinion.
Hey, Jerry, do that on one.
I've
Hates
never
the
been able
song.
to do that. I can never do
can't
that.
either. I can't either. I always had to use my arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I never was able to
Okay.
do that.
Romper
Anyway.
room.
I was really good at it.
All
This is what you get on an unplanned Sunday night show.
Yeah, right.
Sunday.
So
Come
then,
on.
so then we get to a change in the guard because Cliff Burton died on the Master of Puppets tour, and then we get a new bassist in here who didn't play on bass.
I was gonna say he was actually based on this album.
Jason Newsted, Jerry, and Justice for All, man.
Probably the most anticipated Metallica album, of all
Yeah.
time.
They had no
Of course,
bass.
they were going through a lot of with the changes with Jason, and they released like the fucking kick-ass the 498 Garage Days fucking EP, which is fucking awesome, dude. I love that. Yeah, I mean, killer. First time I was able to see Metallica actually, and in South Florida because they're on the Monsters of Rock tour. They actually did before this album was released, they did Harvester of Sorrow, which I really dig, man. I really dig this song. I dig that tune at the time, so I was like really, really fucking excited to hear the rest, and I love it. I thought it's a great album. There's some long tunes on it. Love the fucking video. Metallica, they said they're never gonna do a video, blah 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 blah. I don't give a fuck. The one video rules, dude. I love that video.
That was awesome.
I mean, Dyer's Eve, fucking, to live is what was that? To live is die. What's that song called?
To live is to die.
To live is to die. Yeah,
To live is to
something like
die.
that. Yeah. And the shortest straw, another fucking great tune. Yeah, a solid fucking album, dude. Or a rebirth of the band, in my opinion.
All right, Mooger.
Yeah, I love the record. Fucking front to back, man. This stapled my time in high school, and Dyer's Eve, One. Forget about it. Good stuff. I don't have a lot to say about it, man. It's just really fucking good. Joseph over here is showing all sorts of
Yeah, he's
showing all
next,
sorts
man.
of stuff.
Double
that
180
is,
gram.
that
Nice.
we,
I got that too, man.
Yeah. That we all
Yeah, all my Metallica albums are fucking Walmart fucking versions.
Are they the colored vinyl?
I think the
I
Master
think that's
Puppets
what
one is.
I think that's what
yeah.
Walmart was selling was colored.
Yeah, they are colored.
Mhm.
Like I said, I was new to the vinyl collecting game. I've only been collecting vinyl since when did I meet you, Mark?
2000 something.
Something like that, yeah. I have like over 700 albums now, so I think I'm catching up. But
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I was about ready, and I owe all you people on the fucking podcast for. Let me say something because I was about to pack it in, get rid of all my CDs and albums, just fucking listen to streaming from now on.
Oh,
Then I got a hold of Ralph Vieira. He did videos about how important it is for physical media.
Yep.
And it got me, and I just fucking ever since then I was fucking CD albums, whatever I can buy the band, I still do. I did back then. Don't get me wrong, but I just I didn't know about all you guys, so I didn't think it was a big fucking deal. You know what I mean? So yeah, but I learned to appreciate that from you guys, and I appreciate that.
Oh, awesome.
Alrighty.
all right,
Well,
Moog. We go to
Mooger
Joseph.
went. I'm on. Okay.
I'm on.
Not a great album cover. But
no,
it's all right.
and that's about what I think about the album too. Of course, we always have to talk about the production. Very lacking. Whether you believe some people and say that it was intentional on the part of Lars, particularly, but Lars and James, to cut Jason out of the album because of their grieving process with Cliff and everything.
So don't make an album.
Then don't make an album.
Right.
And it really hurts what is more often than not a batch of good songs. I have heard some people's attempts to beef up the album a little bit. Some have worked, some have not. There's a YouTube channel that I really like, some really, really good remixes of a lot of this stuff that makes it sound a lot better. Still not what it would be if it was like actually professionally produced well, but it sounds better. This is the first Metallica album that I really have issues with some of the songs. As much as I don't like Jump in the Fire, I don't hate it. There is some songs on this album that I legitimately hate.
Oh,
Eye of the Beholder is one of the worst songs
love
Metallica
that
ever
song.
did.
Me too.
I think it's one of their worst songs. Frayed Ends of Sanity is
Love
all
that
over.
song.
Oh, the song too.
It's all over the place. There's parts that I really like,
Ah.
but there's also parts that it's like, did it need to be 8 minutes long? No.
Well,
And then To Live Is to Die, which is almost 10 minutes long. And it's just a far worse version of Call of Cthulhu and Orion. And I don't think it needed to be that. Aside from those three, the other 6 tracks on this album are absolutely phenomenal. Blackened is one of the best opening tracks they ever did. The title track, I've heard a lot of people talk shit on the title track. I love the title track. Great track. Particularly live, it came out really well. One is just, it's a classic for a reason. The Shortest Straw, I really, really love. It's one of the ones I don't hear talked about as much. I really love that song. Harvester of Sorrow, I love it, but I'm a little burned out on that one because that one they play a lot on the radio. And then Dyer's Eve is an amazing closer, and that's like particularly personal for James. You can tell with the lyrics and everything, that's very personal for him, and it's a great closer. But the main selling point for me of And Justice for All, like many subpar albums, it's one of the greatest tours of all time. Particularly,
yeah, Queensrÿche opened up for him when I saw him on that tour.
This right here is the exact reason why this box set is essential. Triple vinyl of the Seattle show. It's absolutely astounding. And to be able to own the audio of this show in an officially released format is amazing.
That's
awesome, one of the Seattle show is one of my favorite shows that any band has ever done. I have since we probably won't talk about it, the Binge and Purge box set. The Seattle show is by far the best thing on this box set. But when I saw that they put out the track listing for the And Justice for All box set and that this was the vinyl that they were including, immediately I'm like, okay, this is what I want for Christmas this year.
Yeah.
And they put a ton of cool, like, gatefold pictures and the set list and all kinds of different stuff in it. They really go all out with these boxes.
That's so cool.
They really go all out with these box sets. And the good thing is, there's a lot of bands that just charge exorbitant amounts of money for their box sets. Kiss. I'm sorry, I didn't say it. Who will charge you $400 for like 2 vinyls and 5 CDs. This Metallica box set is, I believe, 6 vinyl, 15 CDs, and 5 DVDs, and it's barely $200.
That's a good price for all that.
All of that in a great big box with like a 200-page hardback book in it, with with patches and posters. The Master Puppets box set comes with a cassette tape, just for fun.
Joseph, why do you have to pin it all on us, man? Come on.
But that book
buy things.
I'm just thinking if that book was for sale by itself, it could be
Oh, yeah.
easily be $50.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That-
because like it's high quality stuff. I'll pull the book out.
Yeah.
It's like high quality. It's like it's hardback book.
Oh, it's a hardback.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's a hardback book with
Dude.
like glossy pages, and it's all kinds of
Wow.
like photographs. Like they what they did for every time they put out one of these box sets is they would actually like put out calls to anyone who has any kind of photographs in
James
relation
West,
to that period. James West.
you got a free box. You got 2 free box
did.
sets.
He
Yeah.
did. And they
Oh,
would
wow.
they would credit you in the book and they would send you a free copy of the box set.
No way. That's awesome.
If they used your picture. So that like
Yeah.
it's like hundreds of like collages of live photos and tickets and all kinds of different stuff.
Dude,
And
that's awesome.
and interviews. So like they have interviews and stuff. And basically just like and it has a list of everything that's in the box set.
Yeah.
And every single one of the box sets comes with these huge books.
For
and like
that
you
era.
said, and like you said, they could easily charge $50 for one of these things.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because you see so many bands charging $50-$60 for these like picture books and stuff.
Yeah, we'll
And-
pop up crap. Yeah.
And this is just part of the box set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really
All
cool.
right. So let me go to you, Andy.
Yeah, well, Andy, maybe this might be the first time in the history of the show I'm actually going to change places of an album. I'm going to remove Right the Lightning as number 2 and replace it with Justice for All.
Damn.
I will move this one to number 2. For how long, I don't know, but for right now, after reading all these songs, this is an amazing album. This was the first Metallica album I ever heard, and it was before the one video came out. We were camping in my friend's backyard. Remember when y'all would go in the backyard and do a tent, hang out all night? Well, my friend Randy, that lived across the street from us, he had bought the cassette that day. So we went to the tent, and I learned how to smoke cigarettes because we stole my friend's grandma, because she was the one that was there that night. Her cool, I remember those cool cigarettes.
Yeah, disgusting.
Yeah, well, I was only 14. How was I supposed to know about rich tobacco flavor? But
Fucking
anyway.
disgusting.
But we listened to this over and over that first night. It made such a big impression because before that we were listening to, and there's nothing wrong with Poison and Bon Jovi and stuff like that. You know, Def Leppard. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you're listening to that, and then you throw on "And Justice for All," you're like, wow, this is like a whole. When I heard this album, it just took rock music in a different genre and a whole different light for me to go see what else is on this side, what more is behind this album, what other bands are associated with this band, how can I learn more? And I was like 13 or 14, and that's when you really learn a lot about music and about yourself. It's at that age. Some people, I don't know how they grow up, but with me and for you guys, we grew up with music and songs and friends that also love that same kind of stuff. And y'all were, I mean, it was just a great time. And when that album came out, it opened up so many doors for me towards being a music fan and so much. So that's why I said number 2 album. Because, yes, the songs are good, but that album is very special for me personally. So that's number 2.
I tell you what, age 14 is when this stuff started happening for me.
Yeah,
that's when all this I kind of started growing out of, not growing out, but like growing in addition to the bands that I grew up on, which of course I still absolutely adore. I mean, you can see all these Kiss CDs right here. But that's when the first Metallica CDs I bought was right around that time. The first, like when I really started getting into Black Sabbath, Judas Priest, like bands that became some of my all-time favorite bands. Like you said, Andy, it's right around that time. That's when you really start to develop that musical identity. And Metallica, for all of us, has been a big part of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
All right, so then we get to you, Travis.
All right. Well, you know what? I think this album is a fucking masterpiece. I love the hell out of it. I will say there is one dog on this album that I just can't stand. To live is to die. That song is so boring and boring. Like those people will say, "Oh, there's just this one little blemish on the album." Forget the blemish. This is like the big, like Babe Ruth sized turd inside the punch bowl. It's
Big
terrible.
old yellow zit on the face,
like
you know.
Silver
Yeah.
corn. It's terrible.
The baby Ruth in the pool.
It's like a big ass turd in the punch bowl. But aside from that,
That's
everything else,
Caddyshack, right?
Caddyshack, yeah, the baby Ruth in the pool. Yeah.
blackened.
Black
Yeah.
is great.
That's that. Oh my! One is just an amazing song, masterpiece. It's just to me, it's their stairway to heaven.
And when that video, I'm sorry, go on.
Thanks. Dyer's Eve is just a great song, and this is a pissed off album. It's just relentless. And my favorite track on the album is a song that Joseph really hates, "Frayed Ends of Sanity." I love that song. I adore that song, and I love the title track. It's just an amazing record. 4 out of 4 stars. Well, actually, no. 3 out of 4 stars because of To Live Is to Die. So
yeah, each of these albums getting up to Justice for All is like what 3, and then 6 million, and this one went to 8, and Justice for All. You just see them climbing, and then they
This
get
this
to
was
their
their first
peak.
#1, wasn't it?
This album is number 6.
Oh, #6. Okay, I thought for some reason I thought this
Number
was
one
#1.
on the
The
finish
next album.
charts. Finish
yeah.
charts, yeah.
I mean, that's good. Yeah. I mean, did they conquered the world and Mars on the
Yeah.
Black Album?
Yeah, this was 8 times platinum,
Wow.
and this is when it went on the Monsters of Rock tour, which I didn't see because I didn't like them back then until I got into Kill 'Em All just before this album came out. I fucking love this album. I fucking love Dyer's Eve. I love the Frayed Ends of Sanity. I just think this album is great. It does have a lot of bass reverb from the drums. So I didn't even notice the bass was missing because a lot of the rhythm and the stuff is like taking over the
I
bass.
did the very first time I ever put it in. I put
wow.
in. It's like, where's the bass? Where's the bass?
Yeah.
So I
It's
love
so
this album.
it's so hollow.
Yeah. And let's get to the controversial album. Shall
can I
we?
just give
Andy has something
go
to say.
ahead. Go ahead, Andy.
Yeah. Oh well, you were talking about the Monsters of Rock. My uncle went,
I want to.
and but they brought me back a pin. If y'all can see that.
Oh, nice.
Pin from that show, and if you see the Van Halen wings on the top, because that was their first, that was their. I think it was OU 812 they did.
Yeah.
Yep.
That year, and of course, they brought me a T-shirt which I have outgrown. But it was pretty cool because it had all the bands on the back, and for some reason, for a Metallica, when they were doing this, the for them it was like this evil monster in the back because each one had like their own little mascot on the back of the shirt, and that was theirs. And I've never seen it anywhere else representing that band.
Let me see. Let me look in the box set. I think they included some of the tour laminates in here.
Yeah, it's like a weird monster. It's kind of hunchback, kind of like a tan brown color with horns. It could have been the devil. I don't know. But we can move on.
All right, so let me get to the controversial album, the one that sold the millions and jillions and quadrillions, fucking with Bob Rock. Like fans are divided on this album. It's like a fucking big old fight, but the sales fucking did it for them. Jerry, the Black Album.
Yeah, I mean it's fucking probably their biggest selling album. Every song on it was a fucking hit, an MTV hit, just about. I mean, we've heard these songs hundreds of times, but if I never heard another song off this fucking album, as long as I live, I'd be okay. I mean, I've just heard it to death. I think they're still touring for this album too. I think, and they toured for like 4 years.
Oh, there was like 4 different legs of this tour,
including the infamous Guns N' Roses one, which was
I saw both those.
But yeah, I mean, no, I mean the songs are great, but they fucking I just get so burnt out of them, man. And you know, except for some of maybe the deeper cuts like Through the Never, which is actually the second song I heard off that album, which I thought was going to be a fucking solid hit. It never was. Yeah, that's okay. That's not my favorite song on there. But like I said, it is what it is. In history, is one of the best selling metal albums of all times. But if I never heard another fucking song off it, I'd be okay. And by the way, it's probably Lars' best drum sounding album in my opinion. I mean, just that opening and Enter Sandman where he comes in with the drum is just fucking blows your ears out listening to it. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it is what it is.
Yeah, this album went #1 across the world, except for some bitch went #4. I don't want to look at it. But Mooger, what do you think about it?
What do I think about it? I think it's one of the best fucking metal records ever. It's almost too radio friendly, unfortunately, for Metallica. We'll take it though. We'll take it.
All right, Joseph.
Yep. I mean, when I first started getting into Metallica and I started hanging around on pages like the Rock Metal Combat podcast page, the prevailing narrative was, oh, it's the worst thing you've ever heard. It's so bad. It's their sellout album. It's awful. No one. It's there's nothing good on it. Blah, blah, blah. I love this album. I don't think there is a single bad song on this
I love
album.
it too. But if I never heard it again, I'd be okay. I just heard it so
I
much
am
in my life.
burned out on a couple. I am not burned out at all on Enter Sandman. Even though I've heard it a gazillion times, I am not burned out at all on that song. There are a couple songs on this album that I am very burned out on. If I never hear Wherever I May Roam Again or The Unforgiven, or even Sad But True, like those three, I'm like,
It's funny.
good songs, never want to hear them again. But Holier Than Thou, Don't Tread on Me, Through the Never, Of Wolf and Man, God That Failed is one of my favorite songs on this album. My Friend in Misery, I absolutely love. I love Jason's bass intro on that. And then even The Struggle Within is kind of a filler track. It's not a great way to end the album, but I think it's a good song. And I think that it's an album that's definitely too long, and it's an album that is definitely too radio friendly, but I love it. And I think that I mentioned earlier when we were talking about Master Puppets, there was only one other time where I think that Metallica's sound was captured perfectly in the studio, and it's this album. I think this, in a different way from Master Puppets, is the best they ever sounded in the studio. I think Bob Rock did a great job with them here. I think it's one of the best albums he ever produced. I think this, and I think that the drum sound on, as much as I hate the album, the drum sound on Dr. Feelgood, those are two of the best things he ever did. He had a great ear for drums. The drums on Motley Crue's '94 album that he did, I think, are amazing. I think the drums sound phenomenal on that album. He just has a really great ear for drums. It's the best I think Lars ever sounded on drums. And I think that the production of this album is really great. It's a shame that he could not keep that up for the rest of the time that he was with the band. And so this is the only album that I think he ever did right by them. I think every other time that he produced for them, he either steered them in the wrong direction himself or refused to say no when they went in the wrong direction. And I think that's probably more likely the case. But just to keep up my trend of showing cool things that are in the box sets, they included the Tashino Airfield show from Moscow that they recorded in front of all of those freaking people. One of the highest attended concerts of all time. Them and AC/DC, and great show. Another phenomenal tour. I think that the Black Album tour, not every leg of it, but most of the legs of it were really great. They had some really great set lists. They were really just out of necessity because they were touring for so long and just to not burn themselves out. They were constantly pulling out deep cuts. They were constantly throwing different stuff into the set list to the point where as part of this box set, one of the DVDs is a compilation of basically every song that they performed live on this tour from different shows.
Yeah.
And it's like 30 couple songs long of all the different songs that they performed at some point during the tour. Plus like 3 or 4 different full concerts that they have on DVD in there. But they sounded great. They were playing great live. Of course, James famously had his accident during the ill-fated Guns N' Roses leg of the tour. That caused the riot in Canada.
Yeah.
But
the riots in St. Louis, don't forget about that.
There was riots everywhere because of Axl Rose.
It just couldn't start on time.
No,
I walked out on that tour at the Coliseum
and it's
hilarious. It was horrible. Yeah,
it's hilarious. I have to laugh so much because back then they would start 3 hours late. I saw them last fall. They started like half an hour early.
Yeah,
played for 3 solid hours.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
I saw them there right on time.
We were walking back from the beer tent with a beer in one hand, nachos in the other, like thinking we had a half an hour till the show started, and all of a sudden the video comes up on screen and the bass intro to "It's So Easy" starts. Bless you.
Yeah,
and the bass intro to "It's So Easy" starts. We're like, wait, they're starting already? And I'm like, you mean Axl Rose is actually here on time? But I absolutely love the Black Album. There are a couple songs I'm burned out on, but don't let people's criticisms, if you do not know this album, don't let people's criticisms steer you away from this album. There's a lot to really love on the album. Of course, you're probably going to get burned out on some songs before you even listen to the album. But honestly, if you've not, how have you not? First of all, if you've not heard this album, but if you've been avoiding it for some reason, or if you've been avoiding revisiting it because you think of it a certain way, give it a chance, because I think it has really falsely earned this reputation as this awful sellout album.
I mean, it was just fucking everywhere, man.
Yeah.
MTV, every 5 minutes of video there was just on. The radio, even, it was on all the fucking time. It was like, dude, you couldn't get away from it, man.
I think it was a combination of that, but also looking back on it, it was a huge case of they're not our band anymore. They aren't our little special secret club. Now everybody and their brother knows about Metallica, so I don't like Metallica anymore.
I even went to a dance club with a girlfriend. They had like a techno version of the Enter Sandman playing. I mean, you cannot fucking escape that album, dude. You cannot. It was everywhere. That's why I get so burnt out of it, I think.
Yeah, and it's understandable.
All right, Andy, Black Album, man.
Yeah, we lost Mooger.
Yeah.
Oh, Mooger left? I didn't even notice.
Did you put something in the group chat?
He's probably. Just keep going. Go, Andy.
Yeah, sure. I was moving over here because I saw something. This is one of those rare albums that I've got a triple play of. Got the cassette when it came out. I got the CD and I got the vinyl, triple covered. But I am one of those people that when this came out, I loved all the videos. I loved all the songs. I just love this album so much. And as I got older, I started to hear this chatter on the other side. And then I started going, oh, this album's weak. This album's this. This album's that. So I stayed away from it. It wasn't until maybe about 2 or 3 years ago I revisited it. I was like, oh my God, I love this. I remember why I love this album to begin with. And I love the Black Album. After so many years of not listening to it or changing the channel when the songs would come on, to just enjoying it again. And yeah, this is a really good album. The Black Album is a fantastic Metallica album.
All right, Travis.
Well, the first thing I want to say is, Jerry, you brought up like the techno version of Enter Sandman. I'll raise you that for when I went to a honky tonk in Tennessee, and they were line dancing to Enter Sandman.
Oh
Exit light, internet. I can take a picture of that, yeah.
But I do love the album. I know it gets a lot of flack from old fans, but you know what? It's not a thrash album, but it's a good heavy metal album.
Yeah,
and
it's hard to rock music.
I'm not burnt out on anything. Enter Sandman is still a freaking classic. I love that song. Great riffs, just a well-written song, well-composed song. Sad but true. I can take it or leave it. The Unforgiven and Nothing Else Matters. Beautiful ballad. I love those songs. Never get tired of it.
Yeah.
God That Failed. You're gonna get a lot of tomatoes thrown at me. I hate that song. I think.
Well,
that
I mean,
song,
yeah. I mean, compared to these next two turds that are coming out, it's it's a fucking.
I'm actually gonna put. I'm
classic.
actually gonna put those two albums
next
together.
4 turds. You mean, Jerry?
Well, yeah, okay, you're right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
but the thing is that
but A Wolf and Man and Through the Never are my two favorite tracks on the album.
Nice.
you see, but the reason why Jerry and I and Mark might have got a little bit tired of this album, and you two didn't, is that we grew up at that time where it was freaking everywhere. You know, you get tired of something after a while. After it's just been shoved down your throats every single place you go.
Well, like I said, there are definitely a few songs on this album that I am very burned out on. But surprisingly not the one that is literally everywhere. Like I said, the two that you hear the most are Enter Sandman and why am I blanking? Nothing Else Matters. And those are the two that I'm not burned out on. The other three singles I'm very burned out on, but those two I'm not.
They could have finished with just Unforgiven Part 1. It didn't need a Part 2.
No, it didn't.
Sure as hell they need a Part 3.
All right, so let's
very few things need a Part 3.
Let's get to what I think about the Black Album.
That's why there's only 2 tits and not 3.
Andy, you and Jerry are kind of burned out of it. I've never got burned out of this album. First day buyer at Tower Records in West Covina. I love this fucking album. It fucking kicks ass in the car. The drum sound is amazing. It's fucking, when I went to see them, I was playing this album and I played the new album, 72 Seasons, which is amazing to me. We'll get to that later. But I love this album. Let's put these 3 albums together. Load, Reload, and Saint Anger. Jerry.
Saint Anger blows chunks. That's all I want to talk about that one for. It's horrible. Sounds like shit. Talk about bad productions. There's one right there for you. All right. Load. God. Ain't My Bitch. No, we're not starting out too well. It's a terrible album. Mama Said, just full of just pretentious fucking shitty songs. I do, and I know you're gonna laugh at me for this, I do like Hero of the Day. I don't know why. I fucking like that song. I don't know why. It's just cool sounding. But holy shit, what a bunch of crap this is, man. And to make things even more worse, they came up with another one. It's like, how can we outdo that piece of shit? Let's drop another one. When it started out with Fuel, I'm like, okay, man, this had a chance. Woo, did fucking go south in a hurry, man. I mean, you got Unforgiven Part 10 fucking thousand. Dude, Prince Charming. What's that song with the 3 X's? Fixer, yeah, just fucking crap. Oh man, I don't. And the fucking and the way they looked on the back of Load, holy shit! It's like I did Alone on Miami fucking Vice, dude.
It's like that video that they made with eyeliner and
Until It Sleeps.
We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, but you could take these 2 albums and shove them up their fucking ass. They're terrible.
But the thing is,
3 of them actually.
I'm just gonna say, look, Load was like, what did it sell? It sold 5 million.
Not nearly as much.
5 million, Reload 3 million, and then you get to Saint Anger is 2 million. So you could tell the fans are getting a little pissed here.
Yeah, compared to what, like 20 million on the Black Album?
Yeah,
they're fucking an hour and a half long. It's like, dude, spare me this.
They had to cut this album down to keep it on the CD.
Yeah,
they had to cut a minute from the last track to keep it on the CD.
That last track sucked.
Well, because they had to cut it short. They didn't get to finish it.
Well, Mooger, I'm just gonna say Mooger liked Saint Anger. Joseph, what do you think about these 3 albums?
Okay, like Jerry, I'm gonna say like nothing about Saint Anger because it's one of the worst albums ever exist. The production is god awful. I don't like a single track on it. Now, I'm gonna go backwards here. Actually, no, I'm gonna go forward just because it makes more sense. Load. First of all, Andy, could you do me a favor real quick? and hold up the cover of Ride the Lightning for me.
Can't find it.
How can a band and Kill 'Em All as well? How can a band go from an album cover that badass to this in barely a decade? This is garbage. This is absolute garbage. This is like avant-garde rich person's bullshit. And it's a perfect representation of the album. Load. I love about half of this album.
Oh,
The entirety of side 1, except for Hero of the Day. So, Ain't My Bitch, 2x4, House That Jack Built, Until It Sleeps,
House
King
of Jack
Nothing,
Will. Holy fuck.
King Nothing, and Bleeding Me. I love all of those songs. And then you throw in the Outlaw Torn, and I think it makes a perfect double EP. Everything else is garbage. Everything else on side 2, as well as Hero of the Day, I think is garbage. So I love about half of this album. And the songs I like off this album, I really, really like. Then you got this. Like Jerry said, starts out with Fuel. Okay, decent song. Has a nice groove to it. Like it. Really pretty good. Memory Remains. Amazing track. Really, really cool, haunting. Marianne Faithfull is just really cool on this track. Love it. Devil's Dance. Favorite song on the album. Really, really, really great track. Do you know what track 4 is? Anyone want to venture to guess what track 4 on this album is?
I don't remember, man.
Unforgiven 2. 5 seconds in, I turn the CD off, hit eject from my CD player, and give up.
But wait, there's more.
There is not a single redeeming song on this album after track 3. And you know that is not good when it's a 14-song album. When you eject a 14-song album after track 3, that is not a good sign. So in total, these 2 albums would make a great, a little bit less than a full album for me. And that's being generous to this album. That's being generous to this album. Because I like this more than I probably should. And there's probably a couple tracks that I like off this album that if I really, really looked closely, I would not like.
Show the back of Load again.
Yeah.
What the fuck happened, man? I don't mind the fucking haircut, but what the fuck is with the outfits, man? Jeez.
Pretentious douchebaggery is what I like to call it.
Yeah. It fell
Quickly on what Andy was talking about with the Until It Sleeps video. As much as I hate all the avant-garde bullshit they were doing at the time, I love that video. I think it's weird and creepy. And it's my favorite song on Load is Until It
Laura's
Sleeps.
fucking thinking his eyeliner
Yeah, like,
down. I mean,
pouring it down his face and like just like rubbing shit all over his face.
pass.
I think it's weird and creepy. Is it good? No. Do I like it? Yes. But yeah. So I like more than I probably should offload, and I eject reload after track 3. So that's pretty much the sum total of what I think of that. And then Saint Anger is just there's a reason I don't own it. And as you can see behind me, I give a lot of things a pass. There's a lot of albums that I own that I'm like, why do I own? Okay. I own these.
Oh my.
And I don't own Saint Anger. So what does that tell you?
Yeah.
Those are way better than this fucking piece of shit. Just saying. No.
So
Andy, what do you
so
think
we're
about
finally
Load,
figuring out-
Reload, and Saint Anger?
yeah, I've never heard Saint Anger
You're
Good.
lucky.
because I didn't want to hear anything after Load and Reload.
You're right. You were right on that one.
Your ears
So
have
why
not
give them
been
a third
desecrated.
chance? Load and Reload are horrible. There are a couple of songs. Other than that, they don't even sound like the band that I fell in love with at all. Nothing resembles them. Yeah, they cut their hair, big deal, but they lost that edge. I mean, I mean, dude, oh my God, can you think of Load and Reload came from guys who did And Justice for All and the Black Album? And
I can believe it from And Justice for All a little bit.
yeah, but like, I mean, these dudes were classic just 10 years earlier. They changed so much on these two albums. They started to sound like everybody else, and it was generic hard rock. It was generic
Yeah.
hard rock.
Can you imagine Cliff Burton cut
It
his
had
hair
no
and
soul.
dressed like that?
It
See, musically, I could fully see Cliff Burton doing it because he was into a lot of weird stuff.
No, I'm just saying.
Visually,
like,
no
it would be
way.
weird.
Visually, no way.
But this got to the point where they were telling the producer what to do. They were producing these albums. They didn't have anybody giving them ideas anymore. Everyone was becoming yes men to them. That's why we got music like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The producer did that, man. You could
I
tell
fucking
that.
love the Book of Souls, man.
Oh, I
But
love Book of Souls,
that
too.
is a perfect example of a band that is at this point in their career where a producer just shows up and says, "Yes, Mr. Harris, yes, I'm going to hit that button because you told me to."
Well, there was actually an article where Bruce Dickinson's questioning the songwriting. I'd read a couple of days ago. I think it was I forget which where it was, but yeah, even Bruce is starting to question the songwriting of the band now.
I
So that's
don't
kind of
even know what
interesting.
they're talking about anymore. I mean, I've got no willpower to find out what they're talking about. I was like, ugh. But to get back to Metallica, they just lost me after being so excited, changed the way that I listen to music, and they were sounding like a generic rock
Yeah.
band played on the radio, and they were huge and they were big.
Yeah.
And I didn't follow them at that point. I gave up on them.
I know we weren't going to talk about this, but I think that this album is a perfect encapsulation of this era of Metallica, Garage Inc. I think it really it distills because it's back to back. You can literally see it back to back what they were and what they became.
Yeah.
Because you put in disc 2 of this album and it's Garage Revisited and Garage Re-Revisited and all the classic covers that they were doing up into the Black Album days. And they're so good and they're hungry and they're pissed off and they're doing great versions of these songs. And then you put in disc 1 of this album and it's just bland, basic, boring covers of boring, bland, basic songs of the most boring picks you could possibly pick from a lot of these bands. Because who wanted to hear Metallica do Turn the Page? I am sorry.
I fucking love that cover. I love that cover.
Who
That's the
needed
worst
that
ever.
in their life?
Oh,
How
I
could you?
love that, dude.
Who
I
wanted
fucking
who
love it.
wanted to hear Metallica cover Astronomy by Blue Oyster Cult?
Oh, yeah, I can do it.
Who wanted to hear them cover Sabracadabra?
Tuesday's Gone.
Tuesday's Gone. It's so many like you look at these like classic stuff where they're doing like the Small Hours and Helpless and The Weight and like Blitzkrieg and these bands that people didn't know and they're giving attention to them but also doing it their own way. Who hasn't heard of Leonard Skinner? Like who hasn't heard of Black Sabbath? Like these are bands that Metallica did not need to cover. Or Bob Seger.
I love that fucking cover, man. I'm sorry.
Horrible, Jerry.
And I love the Thin Lizzy cover too. I thought they were pretty.
That's the only song I
Oh,
like.
yeah.
That's the
Yeah,
only
that's
song I
good.
like on disc 1 is
But-
Whiskey in the Jar.
But Turn the
That's it.
Page, they took all the soul.
On a lonesome highway.
Dude, they took all the
But it's like
meaning
it's a
away.
perfect. This is a perfect distillation to me about what was wrong with that era of Metallica,
Yeah.
and you can see it literally back to back in the same package. You can put in disc 1, and it sounds nothing like any of the tracks on disc 2.
Yeah,
and it's not the same band. It's really not.
All right. So who just
Travis.
talked about those 3 albums?
It's
Travis,
Travis.
your turn, man.
Load. More like a sour load during a blowjob. Son of a bitch. These 2 albums, they just suck ass. And there's one song that I like out of those 2 albums. And it's a good song. I love King Nothing. I like that song. That song.
you crown king nothing.
That song's pretty damn good. But man, the memory remains. I know a lot of people like that. It's and I would have liked that song if that la 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 la.
See, that's what makes the song for me.
I
think so,
love
too.
That's
that
what
song.
makes the song.
Very and Faithful. That's a great
Love the
Yeah.
video
song.
too. Love the video with
Oh,
the fucking
yeah.
ship going. It's fucking
Oh,
pretty
man.
badass.
Let's
Man.
hear that song.
It's terrible. And Saint Anger.
Ooh.
If you see a song on an album that's called Dirty Window, do you think that's going to be a good album? It's
Let's not forget about the genius of frantic tick 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 tick
Oh
tock.
God.
song made
My
me hate
lifestyle
that.
determines my death style.
Oh shit. You know
I
the
rather-
lyrics? I know that part, but I don't know the lifestyle part of it because
I
turned
know that
off.
part because the lyrics are so stupid, like you can't forget how stupid they are.
Dude, I listened to that album twice and it was hard both times.
Hearing Frantic makes me want to go swimming with jumper cables. That's freaking terrible, dude. Oh my god. Fuck those albums.
Yeah. All right, man. So then Load, Reload, we did a review on Freeform. We never did a review on Saint Anger, and we probably never will.
No,
unless
Lulu, don't bring up Lulu either. Don't bring.
Yeah.
Well, Lulu isn't even on their set. I do like a few
That's true,
songs off
but
Lulu.
just-
I've
yeah,
already said that. But fucking Load, Reload, I could make one album out of both, maybe half an album or an EP out of both those albums. Fucking Saint Anger. I've seen the songs live and they're better live because the drum sound isn't fucking killing me with the snare drum. It's a horrible album, but the songs are done well live. They even add solos to it. They fixed it. I don't know why they don't go back and re-record this with Robert and get a better fucking.
Because no one would buy it.
I would. I would. But
I think the words "Saint Anger" scare people.
all right. So you want to put the next two albums together, Death Magnetic and Hardwired to Self-Destruct?
No, because they're
No.
different fucking albums.
Okay, well we did three because we knew those three
Yeah, because
albums
they all
were shit.
suck.
All
Yeah.
right, so Death Magnetic, Jerry.
Only one of these two albums sucks.
Jerry, Death Magnetic.
Death Magnetic. Everyone is like, oh man, this is a fucking better album than the last one. Which isn't saying much, because this is a fucking double turd as well. I did not like this album at all. Again, just when you think you can't get rid of it, we get another version of the Unfucking Forgiven. Woo! Yeah, the Judas Kiss. I mean, come on, dude. Just lame shit again, dude. I did not get this album at all. Long ass fucking songs yet again. This one might be. Is this one longer? No, it's not.
I
longer
think
than
it might
the
be.
others. It's up there though, but man, dude, overrated. This is like Kiss's Revenge, in my opinion. Overrated as fuck, man. Don't like
Yes.
it.
And both of them are viewed as a comeback.
Right. And no, that just not for me.
All right, Joseph.
Oh yeah, no, I hate this fucking album. Oh, it's awful. I will never understand people who think that this is like the great Metallica comeback album. I think that, is it better than Saint Anger? Of course it is. Of course it's better than Saint Anger. I can actually listen to some songs on this album. I can't listen to anything on Saint Anger. There's a couple tracks, but again, this is one of the worst produced albums I've ever heard in my life.
Well,
The
Rick Rubin,
compression,
man.
the compression on this album, it hurts my ears. Like I get a headache from listening to this album.
Have
And
you
I'm not
heard
the
the-
only person.
Have you heard the iTunes version of it? They fixed it.
I've heard it's better, but like the production's not better.
Oh.
It's the compression is better. It doesn't hurt anymore. It doesn't physically hurt me to listen to the album, but the production's not better. There is the same YouTuber that does the good versions of Justice, does some really good versions of some of the songs off of Death Magnetic. But All Nightmare Long I like. There's a couple other tracks I like, but like Jerry said, Unforgiven 3, The Day That Never Comes.
What? Oh,
Like,
good job.
Something tells me we're gonna eventually get a number 4 someday. I hope not. but have a
Oh,
feeling we
I
probably will.
really hope we've gotten past that. If we're tracking it correctly, it would have
Yep,
been on 72
dude.
seasons
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
because it's every other album. One's on the
true,
Black
yeah.
Album, they skip Load, Reload, they skip Saint Anger, Death Magnetic, they skipped Hardwired. It would have been on 72 seasons. So
True,
I
good
think
point.
we're in the clear.
Hopefully.
I'm not going to promise anything,
Yeah.
but I think we're in the clear on Unforgiven 4. But it's just, I think people were starving for a heavy Metallica album so much they heard something that was remotely thrash sounding, no matter how good or bad the songs were, and said, "Oh, Metallica's back! Metallica's back! I'm gonna grab it." Much the same way that, like Jerry said, Kiss Revenge. They heard Unholy and said, "Oh, Kiss is back," which Unholy is a great track. Much like you hear All Nightmare Long was the first single, right?
I think so,
Holy
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, I thought it was The Day That Never Comes.
Was it? I
Yeah,
know
I
that's
think that
one
was
of the singles.
Yeah, I think that was the
I
first
thought it
one.
was All
I'm
Nightmare
about talking
Long.
about Kiss.
No, but I'm saying much like Unholy grabbed people's attention. If it was All
Yeah.
Nightmare Long, I can see why that would grab people's
Yeah, The
attention.
Day That
Yeah.
Never Comes was
Oh.
released August 21st, 2008, and then My Apocalypse is August 26th. God dang, All Nightmare Long was the 5th single. They had 6 singles off this album.
Well, never mind. Then there goes my theory. But either way, I think it's the same people that like it's the same kind of thing where people were starved so long for something that remotely resembled a heavy Metallica album that they've basically jumped all over this and said, "No, it's really good. I swear, I promise. I really promise it's a good album." And I think that the proof really shows in how long of a gap there was between this album and Hardwired, that it was just Metallica was gone for a while there. And I think that this album is just, I wouldn't say overrated because people don't really talk about it, but it the people that praise it, it's not a good album.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, Andy.
I love this album. This is one of my favorite albums by them. I absolutely love it. Maybe I was starved for something good, and when something sounded at least remotely close to what I love, the long songs, the crushing guitars, the solos that Kirk hasn't really done solos in so long, that I jumped on it when I heard something like it. I still like this album. I can see, the points that you were saying, Joe, was that we were craving for something, to bring us back to that Metallica. And I think that people did jump on that. I can see why, but I do love that album. I think it's fantastic. The production, it could have been a little overly done, but the songs were there. You felt like not the quite the same passion, but maybe they were also working overworking it, trying too hard, that people kind of saw kind of through that.
I would agree. I think that's my biggest issue is that it seems like kind of a try hard album. We're trying too hard to sound thrash.
Through that, and you can see through that. But I do love that album. I still do. It's fantastic.
I think a lot of, yeah, go ahead, Andy.
Oh well, I saw that tour, and they played quite a couple good number of songs on there. Man, they were great live. And
that was exactly the point that I was about to make, was that I think a lot of the goodwill for this album is also combined with, this was like when Metallica kind of came out of their haze and was when they started being a good live band again. Because for years they were known as, well, they're not really that good live anymore. Like from Load all the way through the St. Angry years, it was like Metallica's not putting on a great show anymore.
Why?
And they weren't great live for a long time. And I think this was kind of, I think a lot of the goodwill for this album was also coupled with the fact that not only did Metallica kind of return to their thrash roots a little bit, but they also kind of re-embraced the fan base in a lot of ways. And they kind of reestablished themselves as a dominant, like big selling ticket live. And I think that, like, you still see that to this day, that they're still a phenomenal live band. And I think that really started up again with this era. And I think that's where also a lot of the goodwill comes from, is because not only was there, like, they put out no matter what you think of it, a passable studio album compared to what they had been doing, but also they started sounding like Metallica live again.
All right. So Travis, Death Magnetic, man.
It's adequate. There's a couple songs I like, and then there's some songs that are just plain forgettable. Yeah, I'm not a production snob, but yeah, it's that even Helen Keller will say that that album sounds bad. But that was terrible. I'm sorry. But Broken, Beaten, Scarred, I love that song. I love Cyanide, and I love the Judas Kiss. Every other song,
Oh,
not my Metallica. And for Lulu, I'll say this: I love the Velvet Underground, Metallica. I don't want them mixed together.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this is me. I love fucking Death Magnetic. I fucking wasn't starved for like I bought the fucking Death fucking album before that, man. I just bought Metallica because they were Metallica because they bands have hit or miss albums. It's Saint Anger. Back then, I thought Load and Reload were okay, and then years later, I knew they suck. But back then they were okay. So I was okay. Saint Anger sucked. I never listened to it. I put it in once and I didn't hear it again till like 10 years later. But I love Deck Magnetic. I love the EP they came out with this with the fucking Beyond Magnetic, which
Beyond
is
Magnetic
fucking
was
really good
good.
with Hate Train. Like, and
Yeah.
there's some, and that sounds way better production wise. But if you want to hear a great production on this, check out the iTunes remastered. Get the digital of this, and it's so much better. Because fucking Rick Rubin brick walled the hell sitting on the couch smoking weed. He didn't give a shit. Just sound like old Metallica. Shit like that. I love Deck Magnetic. Let's get to Hardwired, Jerry.
I fucking love Hardwired, man. This is actually the best thing they've done since um, the Black Album. Hardwired, the song is great. Atlas Rise, Moth in the Flame, just great fucking tracks, man. This is thank God for this album because man, they needed it in my opinion, man. Here Comes Revenge, Mankind, just fucking loaded with great tunes. This was a fucking good fresh of breath air in my opinion. I like it a lot.
All right, Joseph.
Let me say first, this is a god awful album cover. Like
Oh
both
yeah.
versions. Like this is the 3-disc version. The 2-disc version is just as bad. Um Metallica in their waning years has produced a lot of shitty album covers. In fact, I don't think they've done a really great album cover since the 80s. I think that the Black album cover is stupid. The
Yeah.
fact that you can't even you can barely see their logo on the front cover. Like it blends in with the album
Yeah.
cover. How stupid is that? And then of course Load and Reload are awful. Saint Anger is just stupid. Death Magnetic is okay. This is awful. But like Jerry said, what a comeback musically. I think that this is the album that they were trying to make with Death Magnetic, but this sounds a lot more true to them. This sounds a lot more like we're actually putting effort into this and not over trying. Like we're not trying too hard to sound like Metallica because not everything on this sounds like Metallica,
Right.
but it sounds good. And not every song on this is great, but most of it is. And I'm biased in some ways because this is the first new Metallica album after I got into Metallica. I got into Metallica a couple years before this came out. And this was the first Metallica album that I was waiting to buy. And I think first of all, it did not need to be a 2-disc album. Second of all, disc 1, I think, is absolutely perfect. Hardwired, Atlas Rise, Now That We're Dead, Moth into Flame, Dream No More, ending it out with Halo on Fire. Perfect disc. You throw a couple of tracks from disc 2 on there, particularly something like Mankind or like Here Comes Revenge, and then close it out with Spit Out the Bone, you have a phenomenal album. Disc 2 overstays its welcome a little bit. Am I Savage is not great. Murder One is one of the worst tribute songs I've ever heard in my life. Who writes a ballad about Lemmy and calls it Murder One? Who writes a ballad about one of the most just pissed off rockers of all time, names it after his very famous bass rig, and it's a ballad? Anyway,
I hear you. I hear you.
Aside from that, it's a phenomenal album. Best thing they've done by far since the 90s. since the Black Album, possibly even since Justice. I think that it's just I considering what came both before and spoiler alert, what came after, I think that this album existing is an anomaly.
Yeah,
And I'm afraid that we're not going to get anything like this ever again.
I don't think so either.
Okay. Andy.
Man, this is a great album. It could have been an absolute masterpiece if it was about 15 minutes shorter. I think we talked about this before.
Yeah.
This time they were heavy, but you felt it again. You kind of felt their personality really come through. That's odd that we love this band so much that we that we rate them on their personality of their albums. That's how we look into them. I think this was a fantastic album. It could have been a little bit shorter, but the music's great. I love it. So
Travis.
Same opinion as Joseph. It's a great album. It's a great return to form. Yeah, side two has some filler on it. I do like Confusion though. Confusion's pretty good. Spit Out the Bone. Best Metallica song since Dyer's Eve.
oh,
Oh my god. Spit Out the Bone could have easily fit on Injustice for All. And I love that guitar solo at the end. Sounds like the Richie Blackmore solo from Mandrake Root. It's just so kick-ass. I love Hardwired. And that ends my good reviews for Metallica.
Of course it does. Fuck me. All right. So I get to fucking Hardwired. I fucking love it. I love the version of Lords of Summer on there. God damn,
that
it's
song.
it's so much better on that version than what they released before the album came out. They're totally like night and day versions of it because I go, oh, Lords of Summer sucks, and I heard it on Hardwired, the third disc, and I go, oh, what this is faster and harder. I didn't say this on Death Magnetic. I love Robert Trujillo, so I was looking forward to him playing on his own album and giving him their own flavor. I'm a huge Suicidal Tendencies fan. I'm a huge Infectious Grooves fan. I love that man. He could do no wrong in my fucking view. He's my second bass player of all time besides Geddy Lee. You know, I love Robert Trujillo. I love Suicidal Tendencies, and I have a lot of fucking Suicidal's the greatest breakup band you can listen to. But fucking, I love that. And then we get to the last album, Jerry. 72 seasons, man.
Riding high on Hardwired. And then we get this fucking vile pieces of shit, man. This album sucks. With the exception of fucking Shadows Follow, there's really nothing really good on it. I mean, they released like every single, and I'm like, okay, wait for the next one. And they came out, and I'm like, oh, that sucks too. Wait for the next one. And then the album comes out, and it's just fucking sucks, dude. They take a major fucking step back from Hardwired, in my opinion. You know, I don't think they're done recording album. I think they still have a couple albums left in them, so I'm hoping they can still have one more great album in them. But this one definitely is not it, dude. Not a fan of this album at all. And I know a lot. This is another album every fucking buddy seems to like.
Oh,
Enjoy. That's all I have to say.
I've seen a lot of pushback
I-
on this
Oh, I
album.
see a lot of pushback on this too.
I have not listened to it since the first week I fucking bought it. That's how uninterested I am about it. So, terrible.
So Joseph.
And you know what, honestly, Jerry, don't. Every time I've listened to any track from this album, it's gotten worse. I don't think a single song on this album has gotten better since I've listened to it multiple times.
Yeah, I would actually compare this with the Load albums, man. I really would.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's just when they put out Lux Eterna, I'm like, okay, this is a cool song, kind of in the vein of the title track for Hardwired, kind of Fast and Furious, similar kind of thing. I'm like, okay, cool song. Hardwired is not my favorite song on that album, so I figured it's kind of a similar thing where it's like a cool kind of kick-ass track that's just going to get it started, and then we'll kind of go from here. And then I'm pretty sure the next single was Screaming Suicide. One of the worst songs on the album. It's boring as all hell. It's just awful. And yeah, cool. Like important message to have. Not when the song's this bad.
What's that horrible song? Something if someone had a son.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Okay, good. Oh God,
It's
that
called
was the third
Darkness Had
single.
a Son.
That was
yeah.
the third
Oh.
single.
okay.
If Darkness
Yeah.
Had a Son. That
Wow.
one's okay. That one I
Oh.
like. That one I do like. I like that song. Of all the songs on the album, that's probably one of my favorite. And then the other one that they put out was the title track, 72 Seasons. Okay. I'm not a huge fan of it. I don't hate it. It's an okay song. Pretty much everything else that wasn't a single is not good.
No.
Like, it's just, they're
Even the
not
singles.
good. They're not good songs. And every time I go back to listen to it, I like it less and less and less and less. And even the songs that I like halfway liked the first time I listened to it, I don't anymore. And it's a very rare experience for me to go back to an album and dislike a song that I liked at one point. And not like a burned out factor, but like it actually like I do not like this song anymore. And this is a very rare occasion where the album, like a new album from an artist that I really love, the more I listen to it, the more I'm just like, you know what? It's not good. And it's another one where, like Hardwired, it's very long, and it's like every album they've released since basically ever, but particularly since the 90s, every album they've released is way too long. This one does not earn it whatsoever. Whereas Hardwired at least like halfway earned it. Like most of the songs are good. You can cut like 2 songs out and you'd have a really, really solid album. This is just not good.
All right,
100%,
Andy.
100% agree with you.
That album has not aged well with me at all. I remember the first couple of times I heard it, I was like, man, this is really good. I like it a lot. And then after that, the more times I heard it, like exactly like you, I was like, it's not really that good. I mean, the excitement really fell down for me pretty quickly on that album. And I mean, the first couple of times were great, and then it just started to drop and drop and drop. It's weird. So it's a very weird album.
I've had a similar experience with the new Judas Priest album.
Oh,
really?
I've grown to love that album. Mark
Yeah.
knows that. I fucking
Yeah.
grown. I hated
Yeah,
it at first.
still like that album a lot. I still like it a lot. But this album, it just each time went down and down and down, where I just play it less and less and less. And
I mean, it's only been out for a year, but it's aged so bad already.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And
Right.
I think it's even worse. It's made even worse by the fact that like Hardwired was so universally loved.
Yeah.
And like you'd be hard pressed to find someone to say a bad word about Hardwired.
Yeah,
And
this
I
is kind of
think
trash.
it gained so much goodwill back for them after so many years of like Metallica can't put out a good album anymore. Metallica can't make a good album anymore. Then they put out Hardwired, and everyone's like, okay, good. They finally put out a good album. And then they put out this, and they're just, you can tell they're riding high on it. You can tell they're riding high on the goodwill, and they did not put the effort in. And you can hear the difference because they sound hungry on Hardwired.
Yep.
They don't sound hungry on this album.
No,
They sound tired on this album.
fake. Yeah.
All right, Travis.
Well, when I heard Lux Eterna, I got excited. It's a great song. It's still a great song. Whenever I hear it, I turn it up loud. And then I saw the album cover. In hindsight, that should have been a red flag. And then Screaming Suicide came out, and I'm like, I tried to force myself to like that song because I love Lux Eterna so much.
Yeah.
And then James Hetfield's like saying, I am suicide. I'm like, oh. So, and then had a song out. Darkness had a song out. I'm like, yeah, it's good for the first minute. And it just keeps going and on and on and on like a modern day Maiden song. Jeez Louise. It is just a I mean, it's just bad. It's bad. The only good thing that came out of it was the RMCP review. There you go.
All right. So
this-
this was my number one album of last year on the BS sessions, and it
Yeah.
still is.
Mine
I
too.
fucking love this album. It gets better and better. I hear Trujillo's bass on the title
I
track.
actually threw it. I remember I threw it. I broke it actually.
Fucking 72 seasons, Trujillo's bass. This album has a lot of emotion with James because he's going through a divorce and breaking up with his wife he's had for years. You could hear the emotion in the lyrics of these songs. You know, suicide. I'm going through a divorce. These songs are kind of meaning more to me now. I was listening to it the other day. I go, oh fuck, this shit's hitting hard. So if
It's like they got this cool wrapping of the CD and they put a big fucking turd in the middle of it, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Look
just
how-
saying,
that's pretty fucking cool.
isn't
the
it?
CD
It's like a
is. Yeah.
spider.
I hate
Yeah.
I hate how they did it.
It looks like
Oh,
a
really? I
worm.
think it's pretty cool.
Listen to
It's
that album.
it's a bitch to get back into the slipcover.
Stupid.
Well, that's true. It is.
It looks like it looks like
I
a
can't even
giant.
get it back in right now. But I'm just gonna say I love this album. It gets better and better and better and better every time I listen to it. And now it's just like fucking hitting me hard because all these songs are written during James's fucking divorce. You could hear what he's going through it, and it rings true for me. So I love this fucking album. I got nothing bad to say about it. It's still my number one
Mark,
album.
you know it's sad when your first comment about the album was you can hear Rob's bass.
I love Rob's bass on it, man.
You know that's a sad state of affairs about a band when your first comment on an album is that you can actually hear the bass.
Yeah. The thing is, it goes, but the riffs come in. His bass is like prominent. It's not like fucking.
His back's gonna give out one day too, man.
Yeah.
Robert.
That fucking crouch thing.
Well, you know, Sebastian Bach said he can't headbang anymore. He's done because he got paralyzed doing it on the last show of the first tour. But that was it, man. We just went through fucking all Metallica's fucking discography. It went up, it went up, it went up, and then we had a drop off after Master, kind of. So thank you guys for being on here on an improv show. Any final thoughts on Metallica's discography, Joseph?
They should have stopped with Hardwired. I think that they would have had so much goodwill if they just stopped with Hardwired and just toured, because everyone was like so in love with what they were doing and the touring, and everyone was like, Metallica's back. Even like Ralph, who had basically sworn he would never see Metallica again after how bad the Load show was, went back because of Hardwired and said how great they sounded and how great they were live. And I think that the more they play these stupid 72 season songs live, the more that goodwill they're going to lose.
All right. Any final thoughts on Metallica, Andy?
I'm really enjoying the roller coaster ride that they're taking us on. You know, let's see what they come out next. You know, we've talked about these albums that we love and love and love, and then we hate because we've got some kind of connection with this band, and we're following their ups and downs as they go through as being a band, and I love it.
Travis.
Despite how shitty Metallica has gotten in recent years, aside from Hardwired, those first four albums alone, I can't hold it against Metallica. They're legends for a reason. I'll always be a fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jerry, I'm gonna go and I want you to take us out, Jerry.
Well,
And
I
this-
want to how I think about.
No, I'm
Metallica.
going to let you go last so you
All
can
right.
take us out.
All right.
I like Metallica. They have a lot of ups and downs, roller coaster ride, but I think it's a good roller coaster for me. I think I like a little bit more than all you guys. I just like it. I just like this band. It's the first, maybe because timeline, they're the first really metal band I got into. So I have feelings for them, and I'm not like a Metallica turd or a Maiden tard or whatever like that. I just like this band, and I agree with your opinions, what you guys think. There's no wrong answer on anybody's opinions, man. Thank you guys for being on here. Jerry, now your final thoughts and take us out, man.
I will never root against Metallica.
Yeah.
I want them to come out with fucking good albums. I will listen to their new albums when they come out. Hope to God that I do like them. But unfortunately, it hasn't been the case through their career. But they deserve that, I think. They deserve the benefit of the doubt at first. Listen to it. But yeah, this is actually a lot of fun, Mark. You know, good topic to talk about. Like you said, I don't think we've done any. I don't think we've done with the loads on Freeform, right?
Yeah. Well, we did
Well,
Kill 'Em
with
All
us,
and Master of Puppets.
Yeah.
But Master of Puppets could be redone because that was.
But
okay.
but anyway, yeah. I mean, like I said, Metallica deserves the benefit of the doubt when they come out with the new album. Listen to it, love it, or hate it, do whatever. But at least listen to it. Looks like it's going to be Edmonton in Florida. I'm not going to do my predictions on it because every time I predict something, it never happens. So I'm not going to. So go Panthers. Andy, Joseph, Travis, thank you guys for being on. Mooger, I hope you made it to the bed and you're not on the floor, buddy.
Yeah, he was trailing off there towards the end,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. He was.
But
I didn't expect him to be on here, but he was on, so I put him on because it's his show too. So there you go.
Yeah.
I'm about talking to him. He's like, you remember the 4 tracks back in the day when we recorded? He's like,
Huh?
I thought he was like frozen for a minute. That poor dude. But anyway,
Hey, Mooger,
guys,
don't apologize to us. You're cool.
Anyway, guys, y'all take care. Be good. Love you all, man.
Wow.
Peace to y'all, man. Bye-bye.
Rock on.